I realized the biggest issue with Tarte that I think the CEO is a very visible person. And so her brand is always going to have that issue. I don't know who owns Lancome or Elf. Tarte this, Tarte that. Are they still inclusive? Are they racist? Da, 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 da. Yeah, this is weird. This is a brand that like clearly doesn't give a fudge about black people or anything like that. We go to this meeting. I don't ask to get paid. Let me just go by myself. So in case I want to say some crazy I can. I go to brand events and I'm the only black girl there. And this is something that happens way too often, but there's not enough eyes on it, right? Because nobody knows who the head of this brand is. Your black creators don't want to work with them because of their history. So the cycle will always perpetuate itself. I finally understand the battles I would have to face to be successful in a country like America. If there are 15 white girls on a trip, maybe 5 of them will speak to me, unless I spoke to them. When I came back, I was so tired. I was like, let me tell you what just happened. Because these girls are crazy. I met Grace O'Malley, and this year I met Brianna Chicken Fry. I just want to say nothing you see on the internet is actually true.
Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast.
Hey guys, if you're listening to this, welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sophie, aka the Odditty. If you're wondering, oh my God, Sophie, why is your voice so sexy and sultry?
And you wonder why you don't feel better.
It's because I'm sick. You guys, I am on the brink of death, God forbid. That was so dramatic, but I do feel very sick. And if you've been following me across my platforms, your girl has been traveling a lot. I have been to Ghana. I went to Necker Island, which is what this video is about. I have been going just to different places. And when I mean that like in the airport with germs.
Excuse me. I just want to say that name sounds weird.
Necker Island. Why would you interrupt my intro, Donald? You want to be seen so bad.
But I'm just saying, think about
Yara is my editor. Yara, can you make sure you don't show Donald's face until I tell you can you show Donald's face now? Because Donald loves the attention. And we're not doing that. Thanks, Yara. As I was saying, you're just going to hear his voice until he gets out of...
Yara, don't do it.
Until he gets out of detention. I went to Necker Island. I have been on several planes and just cars and taxis and all this nonsense. So your girl is just a bit congested. I have gone tested for COVID, for norovirus, for the flu and everything, strep throat, because I've been glocking. And like, just y'all, I'm just telling you, like, they're like, I'm fine, I'm just congested. And then the weather, because I've been back and forth with like tropical weather and frozen weather, because New York is freezing. That's the only logical explanation of this. So I'm very delirious right now. I'm very tired. So that means my lips are going to be loose. They're going to be a bit lipsy in this episode. And I'm also like drinking some Red Bull while I've just had Advil. And I'm just a bit drugged up. Donald wanted me to pump drugs so he can get all the information out of me today. So we're going to do that. So welcome to the podcast. Yara, you can show Donald's face now. Hello, Mr. Donald.
I do not pump drugs. The name does sound weird.
Necker Island.
I can't even say it.
No, you should say it.
Necker.
No,
Necker.
I did not say that. You're a ditzy. You're a weirdo.
Necker Island.
Necker Island.
Necker.
Necker.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. So guys, if you click on this video, the intro is clearly, or the title is going to be all about Tarte. If you're like, what the fudge is a Tarte? Tarte is Tarte Cosmetics. It was founded by Maureen Kelly, this white woman, 25 years ago in her like apartment in New York City, I think. Now, don't quote me on that. Go Google it. But what I will say is Tarte Cosmetics has been like the pioneer for like clean beauty when they first started out, like very fresh, very clean, but also was always like very middle-aged white woman, young college white girl vibes, right? So when I was first introduced to Tarte Cosmetics was in 2016, I believe, when Jackie Aina, who was a really big YouTuber at the time, she still is, but I think she does everything now, but she was like the top beauty guru YouTuber, Alyssa Ashley as well, we're all talking about how non-inclusive Tarte Cosmetics was. So that's where I knew them from. Excuse me. I need to stop belching on the podcast or farting. Honestly, you guys, I don't know what the fudge I'd be doing on this podcast. I'm so sorry. Because I feel like I get comments every time about how like I need to just be a woman and like not be. But you guys, if I swear, if I edited out every time I belch on the podcast, you would think I was crazy. And if I kept it all in, I might explode. and you don't want me to explode. It's not my fault. I'm a bit gassy as a human. I just let out a lot of things. Like when I eat, I poop immediately. Like I just went to poop after eating the jollof rice earlier, Donald. Like that's why I was shitting out there. Like that's why I think I look like this. My head would be a lot bigger if I kept things in. I'm serious.
Where you go?
I don't know. I just wanted to keep going.
How did you even get here?
I forgot.
2016.
2016. So, first of all, don't interrupt me and my ramblings. That's not fair. You're not letting me be myself.
Okay. We've been cutting out a lot of like the farts and stuff, and we're gonna put everything in.
Thanks, Donald. I like that you make me feel special.
Same. Also, what about burping and farting is not womanly?
Come.
Fuck
Yeah. As I was saying, Jackie, Ina, Alyssa, Ashley, right? And so it was like Tarte wasn't inclusive. So over the years, since 2016 till about 2020, Tarte has been known for making these elaborate influencer trips. So they would fly folks on private jets to Bora Bora, fly them out to like Dubai, like all these things. And a lot of the times, most of the time, every time it was white women. Maybe a sprinkle, a dash of inclusivity and diversity. We all sort of knew that. There's certain brands that you just know that. And I think my biggest thing with Tarte is the fact that like you know who the CEO is. Like Maureen Kelly is a very visible woman. Put that to the side because we're going to talk about that later. So the T. So 2020, from 2020 till 2022, right? COVID happens, the trips stop. I think they stopped a little bit earlier before 2020 because I think just influencer trips were a big thing. Post-pandemic, Tarte comes out with like a huge Dubai trip. Mind you, a pandemic just happened. Everyone is like going through it. We're all like, no one has money. Like we're all trying to figure out what the economy looks like. Here they go flying a bunch of influencers on an all expense paid trip to Dubai. And it's like luxury, private jet, the whole 9 yards. The internet goes crazy. Tarte this, Tarte that. Are they still inclusive? Are they racist? Da, 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 da. I'm in my house, hashtag tripping with Tarte, watching everything. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, this is weird. This is a brand that like clearly doesn't give a fudge about black people or anything like that. Fast forward to a bunch of other scandals that has happened since that Tarte trip, I think in 2023 or 2022. And from when the first time I finally got connected to the brand. So there was some drama, and yo, I'm on a drama podcast, so if you want to hear this drama or like actually read up on it, Google it. There's so many pages who have done like tea on like the Tarte drama. But how I got really like into the Tarte drama was my friend Gloria. She's an incredible TikTok beauty creator, but also just a beauty creator in general. She went on a trip to Turks and Caicos with them, and there was a drama with her and the team about inclusivity, as well as another creator called Shawty Cynthia. And there's also an F1 drama. I know y'all, there's so much drama around this brand. There was also F1 drama with another creator, Bria, around Tarte not giving equal rooms and also like not flying them first class, not flying them for the first day and second day. It was very like interesting. And whenever I say interesting in the podcast, it's because I'm really not wanting to say what I really, really think, just because I'm scared of what people would say. And I don't want to fully give my opinions, which is crazy because I'm a podcast, as am I too loud? Donald, are you listening to this? Mm-hmm. Are you bored yet?
Not yet.
Okay, good. Tell me when you're bored.
I know a little bit of the drama.
Oh, you know the drama. Donald also loves the tea, guys. So here's the thing. For Bria Jones's thing, it was, I believe, I might be wrong here. For Bria Jones, there was F1. It was the weekend, and they had passes for the entire weekend, but they had passes specifically for certain days. So like a big creator like Alex Earl had passes for the main F1 day where you'd see the actual race with like the big finale. And maybe some creators had only passes for the first day, some had only passes for the second day. So it wasn't equal, right? So she came online, cried, and she was just like, she doesn't feel like she's really respected and treated well. Internet goes crazy. Like, Tarte, that's not fair. As a black woman, again, they hate us because clearly they didn't used to make our shades a couple of years ago. The tea. The second one was, I think, about Shawty Sin and Cynthia in Turks and Caicos, where bigger creators or just creators in general who have the same following as her got different rooms. So Turks and Caicos, they had different rooms in a villa, right? And Cynthia got put in the basement in a smaller room, and a creator with the same following as Cynthia, a white woman, got put in a bigger room. So when people were posting their room tours and room vlogs, Cynthia was posting hers, and the next thing we know, we were like, why is Cynthia a POC in a basement while all of y'all are in bigger rooms, right? So that's where the drama came in. Now, here's where I sort of like divest, right? Because everything they're saying is so valid. All their experiences are so valid. Don't know, tell me how you feel when you hear those, first of all. Let's start there.
It's making my heart burn.
Why?
Because I like to feel like things are not done intentionally.
Okay.
but unfortunately they are.
Right? So here's the thing. I don't know the brand then. And this episode, I swear to you, wallahi to lie, small be lie. Okay, yo, I am not defending this brand in any way. I'm simply telling you a story, okay? Because I'm a creator. I can work with any brand I want to. I don't have to work with Tarte or anything else. I just want to tell you all the tea and what my opinion was. Because I remember I told a friend and I was like, whenever I get brand invites, I struggle with entitlement versus gratitude, especially as a Black woman. In my head, I'm thinking, I'm just glad I'm there, which I've also been told is a bad thing because you should take up space and you should feel like you deserve all the good things. So if you feel like you go to a brand event and this isn't good or you don't like this thing, you should be able to speak about it. I'm over there like, you even got to Turks and Caicos and you're sad. Like, God, give me the opportunity to go to Turks and Caicos. But I've learned and I've been told that kind of thinking is not good, because what happens is you constantly take less than you deserve because you're accepting less than you deserve. So for Cynthia, who had the audacity to like speak up about that, like because could never be me, right? Because I didn't think I deserved to speak up. And for Bria, who said the same thing about F1, I'm like, wow, that's good. Like, I wish I was that creator who wasn't scared enough to not speak out.
Mercy.
Thanks.
That's going to become a meme.
I would cry. Don't know any thoughts on that? No. Okay.
No.
So let's keep going. So fast forward to a couple of months, I get an email from Tarte. No, I get a call from a friend. And this friend is like, I like to say she's the Michelle Obama of the beauty industry. Don't quote me on this. You don't know her. I'm not going to say her name, but she's a Black woman who works undercover, sort of push your beauty brands to be more inclusive. She fights for diversity and inclusion within the beauty industry in like incredible ways. But I get a call from her and she's like, hey, this might be shocking to you, but I'm working with Tarte and we want to host like a creator dinner, or creator lunch, very private, very intimate. We can pay for your Uber to get there. We can pay for you to be there if you want, but we just want to hear you. Like, this is a listening session, nothing else. I'm like, you think I should be talking? Mind you, I don't create beauty content. And I'm also like, why would she call me? But also recognize that she knew that I have a degree in peace and conflict, and also have a degree in like facilitation and like conflict management. So she was like, since I'm in the influencer space and I have that background, she's curious to hear what I think about the entire situation. I was like, wow, you guys, stop it. So we go to this meeting, right? And I don't ask to get paid and I don't ask for and get an Uber. I like, let me just go by myself. So in case I want to say some crazy I can. We go to this meeting. It's a bunch of influencers from New York. Folks are flown down from LA, different places. And the Tarte team is there. So the CFO, Maureen Kelly, the CEO, and I think 3 or 2 other people who are all part of the brand. And you guys, it was about 12 to 15 Black creators. And we just go in. Like, we're just telling them, like, your brand is trash. Your products are trash for Black people. You're a trash brand. You're mean. We don't like you. This is this. Like, we go in. And I'm telling you, Maureen just sits there and she's just nodding and taking it. And when someone's like getting cursed out and they're trying their hardest not to curse you back. That's how I felt was happening. She was just like, okay, and I feel like when she would try to talk, I would feel like the team like, girl, you better shut. If you say anything, just keep quiet and listen. So we finished the session. And we leave that session with like an understanding that the team wants to change. Now, you guys, here's where I come in, right? Because after that, I realized the biggest issue with Tarte that I think is that the CEO is a very visible person. And because of that, people have a very weird responsibility or like weird access or conflict with this woman for that reason. And so her brand is always going to have that issue. So, for example, the almost closest I can get to a Tarte, Maureen, is Charlotte Tilbury with Charlotte Tilbury Cosmetics, right? But Charlotte is like UK-esque like vibe. So I feel like that's also different because she also probably deals with a lot of shit. Because honestly, Charlotte Tilbury is not as inclusive as y'all think. Like, I love their setting spray and like maybe a few concealers, but Charlotte Tilbury is not inclusive. Very, very similar to Tarte. But Maureen Kelly gets a lot more flack for a lot of reasons that are definitely valid because the brand has shown a lot of problematic behavior over the couple of years, right? Here's the thing. So she says that, she talks to us. After that, we get an email 6 months later. They like outline everything they've done differently. They hired different consultants. They created a different formula, brought out like 50 different new shades, very diverse, very inclusive, donated to different causes, donated to teachers. Like, I was like, oh damn, like I just thought that this listening session, That's it. Like, you're done. Because I actually also found out that I think Black people make like 3% of their market base, so they don't have to be even doing this. So I was like, oh, I now feel confident speaking on this brand if people ask me, not necessarily to defend the brand because I don't know them from anywhere. They're showing me they can change, right? And similar with cancel culture, I always feel like we tend to have a lot of uproar around different things, and then we don't sort of like look for change anymore. We try to think everything has to be perfect, which is not true. Thoughts, Donald? So I feel like I'm rambling. Am I rambling? I'm just actually being a good storyteller.
Yeah, I bet your film story good. Like, I have thoughts, but like, I think,
You want to wait?
yeah.
Okay, so that happens. So after a while, I get invited to Bora Bora. We go to Bora Bora. There's a lot of discourse around like influencers and spending money on influencers and out of touch influencers and how terrible it is, and Black girls going on Tarte trips because like we don't, like, you know, they're not diverse and they're a terrible brand and they hate us and they're racist and all this other stuff, which it's all valid. But my biggest quote to all of that is, my existence is simply resistance. If I didn't go on those trips, I'm either going to be replaced by a white girl or another Black girl is going to go and she's going to get the same exact flack. So at what point do we allow a brand seek growth? I'm not saying we have to be the, you know, judge and executioner here, but at what point do we say, okay, this brand is changing. There's actually proof that they're changing. Let's see how we can work with them. And this is just me. I'm not defending them again. I'm just telling y'all that's exactly what it's been in my head. So I went to Bora Bora last year. It was amazing. I vlogged the entire thing. I came back and there was a lot of drama around like how out of touch brand trips are. But what's funny to me is that brand trips are happening with other brands, but Tarte gets a lot of the flack for it. And I realized, yes, it seems like Tarte is very ostentatious. They're very big. But I don't know if y'all noticed, but Tarte doesn't necessarily like pay their creators the entire year. I think their marketing simply is these brand trips and then TikTok shop and affiliate marketing. Like, I think that's, I might be wrong here. I'm not the marketing officer, but I know other brands that like spend a lot of money on like influencer marketing, paying creators to do X, Y, and Z. And then they have like 1 or 2 brand trips that are not as big. And I feel like all that money that all these brands are spending, Tarte just invests in these really big trips that gets a lot of people talking, good and bad. And then, you know, you get paid through like affiliate marketing. I know a lot of people whose lives have changed because of Tarte trips, because if they go on the trip, they get the views, they start working with affiliates, they get paid through Tarte's affiliates, they get more eyes on their content, they make business. I know a bunch of creators who've done that. So I think that's like their business model. So I go on Bora Bora, I get a lot of flack. I was in like the news about it. But as a Black girl, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be going to Bora Bora. Right? And even crazier was like a lot of the conversation was only about the white girls who went because they're entitled, they're rich girls, they're rich influencers. And I'm like, the influencing world, if you think influencers are making money, we're not. Like, not a lot of us are. I'm so grateful. But like, we're not some rich girls who are like just standing here. A lot of creators are just normal people like you who just happen to pick up the camera and say, I want to share my life. And a lot of times it's struggle, it's excitement, it's stressful. So events like that and brand trips like that mean so much to those kind of creators. Yeah. And so even for me, like, that experience was an experience of a lifetime. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'll be going on another trip with them. It's insane. Like a private jet to a private island. Like, in my head, I was like, that's crazy. I would have never thought this Nigerian young girl would have done that. And of course, there are girls on that trip who could afford it. Like, I know Alex Earl went on a trip like that. And she was like, you know, rich girl. I don't know if she can go on private islands and private jets, but like, they're rich kids. Not everyone is on these trips, right? They do like giveaways and all that stuff. So it's just insane to think about how people's lives are changing as well through trips like that. Because it might not seem like it might seem out of touch. But Pepper Mayo did a brand trip recently where they were also flying a bunch of white girls in a private jet. Love Pepper Mayo. They've still never worked with me. Shout out to Pepper Mayo, work with me. They very rarely work with dark-skinned Black girls. I'm just saying, I'm letting you know. And they were on a private jet flying girls to Australia. I wish I was there. I buy their stuff. That's all my vacation outfits are from Pepper Mayo. Not that I'm calling them out, but I am. This year, I get a call from my friend Sonia. And Sonia Barbie's another creator. And she's like, hey, Sophie, have you gotten the Tarte email? What Tarte email? Because usually they do their trips at the beginning of the year. She's like, oh, well, like Tarte is going on another trip. And I was like, oh, well, in my head, I didn't expect them invite me again. You know what I mean? But she said, oh, like, I'm going on a trip. I got invited. Did you? Because she just assumed I would be invited. And I was like, no, I didn't get invited. Like, boy, good luck and go. She was like, oh, she wants me as her +1. And you guys, it's so random that I felt weird about being the +1 because I felt like I'd already done it and I've already had my own time. I wanted someone else to like just go and have fun. And I also felt weird that I wasn't invited to. And that's why I go back to like that entitlement I was talking about. Because I was like, the brand knows me. They've had a relationship with me. I introduced them to Sonia and a bunch of other creators. Like, they have a connection to me. I talk a lot about them on the, like, they're not even defending them, but honestly, like defending them and like defending my choice of working with them. So in my head, I was like, why am I going to even go on this trip? Like, now I get it. Like, them, I don't want to go. Sonia sends the brand, they're like, oh, I'm gonna bring Sophie as a +1. I get a text message from the CEO and she from the CMO. I don't wonder what her role is, but she's a bigwig, and she's like, hey Sophie, we're so sorry, we hope you know we meant no disrespect by not inviting you. We simply just thought like the island we're going on, you might have some visa stuff, because last time I had some visa issues. Watch my vlog if you're looking for, go search like the Odditty Diaries Bora Bora to figure out how I even managed to travel to Bora Bora then, because they did a lot of work to get me there. So she's like, I apologize, like we don't mean no disrespect, but we would really love for you to come with Sonia. Like, we love you, we love your content, all that stuff. And I it took me like a week and a half to figure out if I wanted to go or not, because I really was feeling like I was feeling entitled. I remember we talked about entitlement versus gratitude. I was like, should I actually go for this brand trip or should I stay? But I'm glad I went, because it was also just so much fun. And like, I felt like the fact that I thought I was only going to get that one experience and I got to do it again was crazy. So yeah, that's my like little Tarte intro story about Tarte Cosmetics.
I think it's interesting that like the CEO, because she's vocal and because of all the trips and everything they have going on. So because of the trip and everything they have going on,
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like a scapegoat thing.
Yeah, I also think it's reparations,
No,
which is bad.
No, it is, but no, let me know my point.
Yeah.
Right? Like being the example, I think a lot of people don't give credit.
Yeah.
Because, and this is not me trying to look at this from like the other side, right? But there's a lot of credits in doing the uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's so hard, like, because
Yeah.
to be honest, I get it if they can relate, because the amount of work they're gonna have to do to be able to understand like the thought process of even existing there.
Yeah.
Are they doing too much?
Yeah.
Should they do less? What exactly should they do? How sensitive? Do you understand? Like, what are all the things that they have to take, right? So I get it, but the fact that they're even putting themselves in, because there are a lot of, like you said, there are a lot of brands who aren't.
Yeah.
And I think we've even gone to places where like
Why
the
are we
snow is snowing.
When I tell you guys, it's so crazy how like, it's so funny how I feel like Tarte is the scapegoat, but there's so many brands who just get away with it. Like, they just get it. Like, I go to brand events and I'm the only Black girl there. And this is something that happens way too often.
Way more often than people
But there's
think,
not
yeah.
enough eyes on it, right? Because nobody knows who the head of this brand is. Like, I don't know who owns Lancome or Elf. Estee, like, I don't know.
But that's the thing, is like, we're even talking about the popular brands, right?
That's true.
There's
The
a
ones that are
lot-
smaller.
like-
Youth f***ing Foria, the brand that did the whole blackface thing. Yeah, no.
There are
that's
rooms
crazy.
and there are places where like, and this is not just a makeup thing, right?
Yeah.
In general, like,
Yeah.
there are some places where we've gone to and I'm like,
How? Don't be so uncomfortable. It's crazy. Because you guys,
so I'm like, I didn't even know this existed. So like this, and there are things happening on a daily basis
Yeah.
that like we don't even, because I feel like for people of color, like most times we're on the internet
yeah,
and that's where it happens.
yeah.
Like off the internet, like where things are shaking,
It's shaky.
and moving,
It doesn't come out. It doesn't come out. It's so interesting. But yeah, you guys, I went on the trip and the trip was really fun. And I think what was crazy about this particular situation was Tarte just has bad luck. Because literally this trip, I know they've been planning for a year, because it's like the 10-year trip with Tarte anniversary, the
okay.
LA fires.
Okay, I have the perspective on that.
Okay.
I understand that, okay, they had booked everything and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think they should have postponed the trip?
No.
Okay. Why?
Because I think people always need an escape. And for a lot of people, that was an escape. Not for most people, but for a lot of people. If we reacted every single time around everything that happens in the world, nothing would happen. It's so sad. This is so sad to say out loud. This is so sad. But like, I can decide today not to work at all because of the crisis happening in Congo.
Yeah.
Because if I constantly read the news and looked at NGO reports and everything like that, I would be crippled with anxiety and guilt about living life when there are people in the world who are suffering and struggling, right? I think the same thing about Gaza happening right now. I said the same thing about LA. There was a school shooting in North Carolina. There's a volcanic eruption right now in Hawaii. The list goes on and on and on and on. I mean, a market just burnt down in Ghana. People lost a lot of their belongings. Like, war is ever present. Strife and struggle and everything is ever present. And maybe a brand trip isn't the best thing to apply to this, right? But what I'm trying to say is there's always something going on in the world. And the best thing you can do is simply accept it and do your best to navigate how to do it. And I think they did. And that was my biggest thing.
Right.
So like immediately I saw the LA fires, I literally called my friend who heads their DEI and I said, what are they doing about this? Because I know they can't postpone this. It's already like 2 days before the trip is supposed to be happening. How are they going to make sure this doesn't get a lot of flack? And they were like, oh, we're donating $250,000 to LA Fire Department on behalf of every creator. We're donating $10,000, and there were 25 creators, also $500,000. They're also donating all the things they invested in the room to people who lost their belongings in the fire, and we can also donate our stuff to the people too. Mount closed, that done. Like that's a good thing. Yeah. Because what if they had postponed the trip and not done anything at all?
I think the question is, when will the trip happen?
Yeah, or even like,
when is it going to be okay?
Not only that, like, then what?
Right?
Like, if they postponed the trip, nothing happened, and they didn't do anything, maybe we wouldn't have heard they didn't need to do anything, right? Because I wonder if they did all of that because they knew they were going on this trip, or were they going to even do it anyways because of what was going on later? You never know.
Yeah.
But my thing was, no matter what the intention was, people were getting money and support and help through this entire experience. And everything and event we did, yes, we're having fun, we're taking shots, all this stuff. Literally, I'm telling you, like, at some point it felt crazy having to them remind us, oh, don't worry about it. Like, we're paying this, we're doing this. Like, we played musical chairs on the second day we were there, and the winner got $10,000 to the LA Fire Department. I won musical chairs, and when I heard $10,000, I thought it was for me personally. And then I saw the check, and I wasn't upset. You know what I mean? I wasn't upset at all. I just was like, okay, yeah, that's like, yeah, 10,000. Because I really was like, oh shit, I want. They're like, no, Sophie, we're donating this on your behalf. I was like, you should. Absolutely. Not even like $1,000 for me. No. So I'm not upset. No. I didn't just push someone off their chair for this win because I thought it was $10,000. I did it for the cause. Yeah, that hurt a bit. I'm not gonna lie to you if I want to be honest. But yeah, so they did that. So I think everything's nuanced, right? And like, this is not me defending this brand anyway. I don't even know if I'm going to go on any other trip with them because I feel like I've done it. And I'm really just grateful for the experiences. But it's definitely something like, I feel like they get a lot of hate.
Yeah.
I'm not even like trying to even defend them because honestly, y'all, there's been a lot more brands who are terrible to me than Tarte has been. Like, in many ways, I feel like I even enjoy the fruits of the labor of the folks who are constantly telling them to be better for us. You know what I mean? Like, for the amount of people who told Tarte or tell Tarte every time, you're racist, you're terrible, we hate you. They're like, how do we prove to them that we're not? And then they spoil Black creators. You know what I mean? The ones who are willing to listen to them. Because the funny thing is, I know so many friends who got invites to go on these trips who said no simply because they're scared that the internet is going to say one thing or the other. But then when the internet does come back and say, oh, they hate Black creators, it's because your Black creators don't want to work with them because of their history. So the cycle will always perpetuate itself. Mm-hmm. If you say, okay, they don't want to work with Black creators, so they reach out to Black creators, the Black creators say, no, you didn't want to work with us, so now we're not going to work with you. So they continue working with other creators, then they never work with Black creators, and so you're going to continually tell them you hate Black creators, so you're not going to work with us. So there's no solution. But the little amount of Black creators who are like scared, because I'm always scared to talk about this, and I just like, hey, I'm actually doing my research, I see what you're changing, I see what you're up to, let me be interested in it. I'm going through it right now, you guys.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Who aren't going through used to it, like, we're the ones who are able to like get like spoiled and like just accept it, and we're able to like not necessarily teach them because it's not our job, but to show them and show creators who look like us that you're deserving of love and enjoyment in this way. Like, it doesn't only have to be these creators who don't look like you, if that makes sense. So it was fun though.
So you wouldn't go on another one?
I think I won't because I've done it. Like, I feel like it's becoming obnoxious. If I go on a private jet next year, that's crazy. Like, girl, sit down. Like, what do you mean? Unless it's my private jet.
What if it was Tokyo? Ooh.
I feel like another brand can take me. I feel like I think this might be my last Tarte trip. I think another brand. Because, like, the Tarte trips are not, it's just partying. Mm. Yes, they give away a lot of stuff, but it's really just like partying.
Okay. I have a question.
Oh my days. Tega, what does my makeup look like? We're keeping all this in because you guys need to know how much love I have for this freaking podcast that I love so much.
What's like your ideal, like if you wanted to like plan a brand trip, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, like the Tarte trip is like alcohol, all of this.
No, let me finish. Okay, let me finish, because I don't want to say it's not all that. It is. But like, so basically how the Tarte trips usually are is like, there's a lot of liquor, there's a lot of partying. So basically breakfast, a beach activity or like a fun activity you do together. And then you go to dinner, and then like it's a Tarte after dark where like it's drinking, shots, partying, all that stuff.
Right.
For Bora Bora, we had like, you know, swimming with sharks, and I think we had like paddle boarding and skiing, like water activities. For this particular trip, there wasn't a lot of that. Like we did a hike around the island, and because it was a private island, literally we went to Richard Branson, the CEO, like the founder of like Virgin Voyages, Virgin Atlantic, his private island. So they we could see lemurs, and they had water activities, but like it wasn't, we're going on excursions, right? We're not doing like very like fancy educational stuff, which is totally fine, right? Because there's certain things that you just know, like for this island, it wasn't going to be able to do. Ideally, for my dream brand trip, it would probably be similar, like definitely more excursions or like something I'm learning about the brand. Like Odditty is a skincare brand that flew creators to France, and Odditty, that they do wine.
Okay.
And they also do skincare. So like for that brand trip, you're going to the wine country, you're going to do wine tasting, you're learning about the history, you're going to like get food and do French cuisine, and you're going to a French class, like additional stuff like that to make it a full experience. Like I know Tarte's biggest thing might be like their maracuja lip oil, and I think that's going in Brazil in the Amazon, but like they can't go there because it's not safe for, you know, Brazil. But like stuff like that where it's like, okay, how do you make it? Where can we learn about it? Like stuff like that that's like exciting, invigorating, and just more than like shots and partying and stuff. Now maybe they're gonna do that in their next trips and the trips that I haven't, because like we went to Essence Fest and it was mostly just going to Essence, coming back. Like if there was any vibe we wanted, like there's alcohol, there's food, there's drinks, but again, it's very much like it's just vibe and party. Like the vibe is you come to a Tarte trip to have a good time. This is crazy. Right here, right now, is crazy. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm actually not, because I'm going through it. But yeah, so I think that would be what my ideal trip was. And this trip was fun. I got to meet Love Island girls. So Liv, Janae, who watched Love Island USA, the girls were there. They were really, really... Liv was like crazy. Like, she's exactly what she was on Love Island. Janae was exactly who she was on Love Island. They were all exactly who they were on Love Island. They were like very human. And we saw other creators. Brianna Chicken Fry was there. These are all white girls, by the way, except for Janae. Brianna Chicken Fry was there. Ken Urich was there as well. And if you don't know any of these people, it's because like I'm too deep in internet drama. You guys, like, I feel like I'm not even as big as I need to get yet, because the amount of tea I know about these creators is crazy. Like, I mean, like before I went there, I knew more about them.
What is that dynamic like?
I'm telling you, if this podcast doesn't do well, I'm gonna be in shambles. What am I doing wrong?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Because I feel like, first of all, I'm wasting paper. Save the trees.
I don't think you're supposed to even use paper towel.
What am I supposed to use? Tissue? Tissue has a lot more.
You're supposed to use like a fiber because of the chemicals.
Do you have fiber for me? So how are you helping me right now? Don't let me cry. Just give me a minute. Let me just soak it up. I'm listening. Just ignore me.
You got this. So, what was that experience like?
What experience?
Because I feel like, okay, we know a lot about pop culture. Right?
Yeah.
And the next thing we're about to talk about is this, like the whole conversation about like the things that we do, right? Like, so we're creating a lot. And the things that you're creating not being amplified enough, right? So when you're in that space where like, okay, you're in a room with a bunch of creators who you know so much about.
Yeah.
What's that dynamic like? We're creating so much, and I feel like content is not, like our content, like immigrants, Black people, it's not as magnified.
Let me tell you the story. Okay. So I know why you brought that up, because I was telling Donald when I first came, I was like, wow, like I was trending. If y'all don't know, I went to Ghana for Dirty December. If you're a new listener, I'm Nigerian, but I went to Ghana for Dirty December. And Dirty December is, go listen to that podcast episode. But I went to Ghana for that. Oh, I'm just going to fucking blow my nose right now. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you need to.
Guys, if you're watching this, I really am going through it. Please like and share and post this podcast on your Twitter. I was on the phone with Donald and I told him, I was like, it's so interesting how when I was in Ghana, anything I did would trend, right? And like, it wasn't like crazy, but I would just hear people say, oh my God, I saw you on the blogs, I saw you on the blogs. And as an African in diaspora, the idea that when we're home or folks are home, you just get a lot of news about them. Like there's an echo chamber, there's a space, a ecosystem that's been built because everybody looks alike, everybody lives in the same place. Like it makes sense that if there is a celebrity in Nigeria, there's celebrity news and it's specific to Nigerian celebrities, and then celebrities across the world who are Nigerian, of Nigerian descent, and black people, and blah, blah, blah. You get the point. It's interesting because in America, I'm in a majority white country. It's a fact. Like this is just me. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. But I'm in a majority white country, and I can never trend the same way white people do, right? Because Remy Bader, a cool friend of mine, she's also a content creator. She's an amazing human as well. I love Remy. She was like so sad the entire trip. And I was like, are you okay? And she was like, well, like, not really, because she knows the blogs are going to like take this and run with it. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I guess I'm flack as a creator for going on the Tarte trip, but like, I'm not getting flack from CNN or The Cut or Rolling Stone. Like, yeah, I might get people saying, oh, F that girl, she's a sellout. Maybe no one has ever even told me that. Like I don't get the bad press. Comments, yeah. Maybe 3 or 4 people. Other black creators, like when we get comments, it's honestly from our own people, not from other people. Yeah. I'll explain that in a second. So Remy is talking about how The Cut just posted a story about her, Aspen, who's a creator that I didn't really with or know, and Ken Urich, who I really liked. Ken is chaotic as like she some guy, British guy on the trip, like iconic moment. She posted about it too. I want to do shit like that. I want to someone and come and tell y'all, not because of anything, but because that's just chaotic, and I love chaos like that. I've done that before. I would never post about it because y'all will cancel me quick, as I was saying. So she's talking about how like The Cut, and I'm like, The Cut, like that's huge. Posted a thing about her. She feels really bad. Other pages are like posting about her, and she's in the discourse. And I remember smiling to Donald and thinking, I finally get it. Like they're mainstream because they're the majority. Mm-hmm. So imagine a writer writing about the Tarte trip. How most of the time those writers are white, right? And a lot of times they would not seek out the POCs or the black girls on the trip to talk about the trip. They would most of the time go to the easily recognizable faces or names that are mainstream, like Remy Bader and Aspen, these white girls, Brianna Chicken Fry, who's now like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. Not creators like us, because we are not the majority. And we're constantly fighting that wall that's been put. You know what I mean? Like if I think of a big black creator who might have gone on the Tarte trip, I'm thinking Janae of Logan. She's huge in my head. But she was not in mostly any news. Like it was usually around Love Island, not her herself. The biggest creator I can think of is like if Jackie Aina goes on the Tarte trip. And I also can't imagine The Cut or Rolling Stone talking about Jackie like that. You know what I mean? Like, because we're not mainstream. And I hate that because I'm like, I finally understand the battles I would have to face to be successful in a country like America. Because Donald Trump is about to be president, right? And like, if you guys might say, oh, why are you always talking about race? It's a fact.
Like we need a DEI program for to hire reporters.
I'm telling you, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, imagine a creator trying to come and be like, oh, Sophia Ibrahim, how do you spell that? It's just racism. Yeah. And like, this is so deep.
How many black celebrities, right? How many black reporters are even talking about like black culture?
But even in that sense, that are talking about black culture and mainstream culture, like it doesn't mix as well as it should, because like it's not integrated enough, and it can't be. America is such a cool place, and I say cool not in a positive way, and maybe not even in a negative way, just in a neutral fact. Like America is such a cool place because yes, it is a melting pot, very similar to like the UK or any colonized country, any country that I or anyone who looks like me is not the majority, right? Because I think about it and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like today we're just talking about how I've been wanting to look at trends and how that applies to a lot of things. And a blog post in Nigeria posted me on Twitter. And I remember going, wow, I can't imagine a blog post in America posting about, man, what blog post would that be? Would that be the Shade Room? Would that be the Shade Borough? Would that be Melanin Shade Room? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what blog post do we have? Like, what mainstream? Like, The Cut. I keep saying The Cut, Rolling Stone, Adweek. Like if Jackie Aina was on the cover of People's Magazine, how many people from across, the engagement would be lower. Because white girls don't care. Like some do. And it's funny because people think Jackie's like whitewashed, which is crazy. Because she's the closest we have to breaking that majority-minority complex and just existing in a world where she's unapologetically herself. And that's what I aspire to do with this podcast. And just in general, like have these weird, tough conversations. Because like I'm not lying. Anything I just say right now, like just take a second to think about it. Think about the dynamic here in America. Because I honestly am even able to break that mold and exist in spaces like this because I assimilate. Like on the Tarte trip, I'm the creator who is meeting all the other creators to talk to. My content, I'm going past my comfort zone. I'm code switching. And I don't have to, right? Mind you, I don't have to. But the money is where the white people are. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? Because it's a majority white country, and it's so sad and unfortunate because you're having to fight tooth and nail to get that. I don't even know how we got to this conversation, but I think it's interesting because when I see that blatantly reflected in my face, it just gets really like sad to me.
Yeah, no, because I'm sure everyone is also thinking about it, right? Or I'm having those thoughts because I know you. I'm seeing you in that space. I'm seeing you make a video and it's great. And unfortunately, like I'm thinking about 10,000 things. I'm thinking about like, okay, how do you feel in this setting? How are you moving?
You can tell how exhausted I am.
Yeah.
I came back exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's because like I have to do the dance. I like, no one knows I say this all the time. Yeah. Like to succeed in America, you have to do a dance, like a little dance. Yeah. Like Kevin Hart dances a lot differently than Kevin on stage is dancing. Yeah. Issa Rae, SZA, Keke Palmer. You know what I mean? There's a dance you have to do to succeed in this country. That's what I like to say, especially being a POC or black person. And we have like outliers who like break that mold. But a lot of times those outliers have to. And Winnie fucking Parker, I think that's her name, on TikTok said this shit and y'all dragged her for filth. Yeah. Remember what she said? She was like, oh, to succeed, you have to have a majority white audience. They're like, no, that's not true. Let me tell you, the reason why it wasn't received is because, yes, you can have a majority black audience and black people can make you succeed. But I swear to you, will lie to lie, someone be lying. You are not succeeding as much as that black creator who has a majority white audience. You might think you are, but there's a difference between Lupita Nyong'o, Viola Davis, Gabrielle Union, and Taraji P. Henson.
So would you say it's a white audience or diverse audience?
White audience. Okay. Because they're the majority.
Yeah,
like think about Kevin Hart, Kevin and Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. And even those two like are becoming pretty similar. Like Dave Chappelle is very much like still directly speaking to the black audience. But even then, like Dave Chappelle still is very like, his audience is like trying to be diverse, right? Like breaking that mold. Think about Kevin Hart in the same way too. Like Kevin is, everybody can get it. Like I want money from all the verticals. Like give me, this white man can give me money, this black person can give me money, all of you give me money, right? That's how it is. Like Tyler Perry was in a bubble until he had to start breaking out to it and say, well, let me partner with you. Let me tell our story. Issa Rae is the same way with Barbie.
How do you think that like integration can work? Because think about Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle. How they were introduced. Yeah. Right? I feel like they were introduced into that audience. They were introduced into spaces where like white people existed. Kevin Hart, for example, scary movies.
The way to universally be accepted in a space that's really diverse is, I'm not going to say only these three things, but comedy, so laughter. Mm-hmm. Dance is a huge bringing people together kind of thing. And art in many ways, right? Like stuff like that where it's universal. Yeah. If it doesn't matter what you look like, if you make me laugh, I can love and support you. But I love the conversations we have and love the creators like we look to. Even comedy can also be very direct and niche, right? Issa Rae's comedy is very black girl centered.
Depending on your platform.
Exactly.
Right? Like Dave Chappelle was what? Comedy Central?
Yeah.
And he had that show. So it's like...
Yeah. Versus even like Kevin or like Trevor Noah with The Daily Show. Trevor Noah was also like easy with a white and black audience.
How many people knew Trevor Noah was when he was a comedian?
Exactly. Yeah. That's true. So it's so different. And I think, again, it's just the nuance of living in America. I like it. I like it because it pushes me to ask myself different questions. I know that I would be very successful if I lived in Nigeria. And I know that for a lot of people, like the accessibility to success is not as hard because you don't have as many bridges to burn and break. And I know it's supposed to be an exposing Tarte conversation. I think when I was on the trip, it was so clear to me how hard I would still always have to work as a black girl, no matter what. And was not because of the brand, but just because of the nuance of who I am in my existence as well. So it was pretty interesting. I don't know. I like it. It's interesting. It's weird. It's different. It's also frustrating because I'm constantly reminded that I have to work 20 times as hard, which we hear all the time. Like Viola Davis says the same thing. Like back when I played less, da 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 da. We hear all these a lot, and I could either choose to stay true to myself. And this is me being very honest, stay true to myself and just like work with what I can do or step out of my comfort zone and to expand my interests and still be me at the same time. Right. And the thing with me is success, I think, is what I'm looking for and I want, right? Because I want to break every barrier because I want to be that African girl who's able to show the world who I am unapologetically, and I don't want to change that. But I also realize and recognize that the space I'm in requires me to mold and morph and move and wiggle without losing. I think about like a jelly and a jelly in a maze, right? Like I'm not necessarily like losing my bits. I'm just wiggling, pulling into the corner, moving, shifting, because I know I have to do that to survive. It just feels like constantly living in America is survival. And when I was in Ghana, I felt so fucking free, right? Like Ghana was also like a brand trip with Afrofuture, and like I was just navigating like experiences with people who look like me, and the bloggers and the content, everything. It was easy, and Tarte wasn't easy. It was just strategic and uncomfortable, right? And I think to reach success, I also need to understand and adapt to those kind of spaces too. Because if I was in Australia, I think I'll deal with the same thing. If I was in Canada, I'll deal with the same thing. If I was in Europe, I'll deal with the same thing. If I'm anywhere that isn't what I'm used to, even if I was in Jamaica or Brazil, honestly, because there are different nuances to culture and traditions that you also have to morph and shift through that I'm really like learning. So I feel like it's really cool. You guys, I hope that wasn't like too deep or too weird and all over the place. Like I'm literally just rambling. I'm not some expert in political society issues. These are just like my opinions that might be a bit loud, but we're always loud on the podcast. So I enjoyed what Tarte brought out of me, because it constantly lets me realize that I'm doing my best. Also, like, white girl culture is crazy. Like, when you're in it, hey, those girls are crazy. The things they do, the things, I'm telling you, we don't have enough drama. I'm telling you, shame. You know that I took my accent changed, didn't it? I'm telling you.
No, I think what you're talking about is home training.
Let me sit down properly. I'm moving this mic. White girl drama, chef's kiss. Oh, they do a lot. Like, I'm telling you, to be born a white girl is like, you're just uninhibited. Like, you're just vibing. Oh yeah, I see a British man, I'm gonna go fuck him. I will lie. Let me say I shall fuck the driver in that trip. If I can say it out loud with my mouth, if they will not drag me for filth. Won't be me that. Or lie won't be me that. I can't do it. I wish I could. I want to fuck too. I don't. I'm a new woman. But you know what I mean? It's just different, Donald. Like, we're skinny dipping. We're just running around. Hey, haha. Your titties out.
Oh my God. You know I just got it?
What?
You said skinny dipping 3 times.
Like, naked in the pool. Just for fun. Like, whoo. Like, I swear, I can't imagine going on a black trip with all girls on a brand trip where a brand flea was out and having the fucking audacity to say, let's go skinny. We're scared. What if they kick us out? What if they cancel us? We can't do it. Shame is a drug. Because to watch them simply exist so free in America is like the privilege of that.
Because it's like
the privilege.
The thing about it, right, is like you want to make a decision. Your first thought as a black person, as an immigrant, is what would my mother say? My mother, yeah, that's the first thing. I don't think they're thinking about that.
What would life say? I can't do it. I did it. I skinny dipped with them. I was the only girl. I was the only black girl. You know what I'm saying? So they look at me like I was crazy. So they was like, because I think the running thing with everybody on the trip was like, Sophie, like, how are you in everyone's group? Because I would say hello to everyone. So I like it. Like, I like to get to know people who don't look like me. Yeah. I think that's how you move fast in life. Because you also, like, you learn a lot. Like, I'm telling you, the knowledge I have now about these people and their drama is crazy. Yeah. And it's also, like, it's also fun because I'm able to, it makes me have audacity. And that's such a weird thing to say, maybe. But as an immigrant, it feels like I constantly have a bird's eye view into American politics and society politics, right? Because my thing is, my home training is like I'm Nigerian and I've lived in America now for 10 years. And just like peeking in, I'm looking at like everyone from the outside looking in. I'm like, oh, I look at that black girl and how like she's in with these other black girls because those white girls are crazy. Those white girls are never going to go say hi to that black girl. And look at me and Sonia sitting in the corner because we're like, they don't have enough food. I don't want to eat rice. I'm tired of eating chicken wings and fries. The nuance is crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of people see it as a weakness, but it's actually a strength.
It's a strength. It's a strength to be able to like see these pockets that we have. I think college also helped me a lot because I think going to college in America helped me see this a lot more. And I
can imagine not going to college, like school here, and existing in America.
You know what's crazy?
Like,
no, I feel like even people I went to college did not choose to assimilate. I think that's an interesting thing. I did. Like, when I was in college, I was a part of the orientation staff. I was a resident assistant. Like, I made sure I was in the mix. And I feel like my friends used to laugh at me a lot about it because, like, Sophie, like, mind your business. Go sit down. Like, because this is it. The immigrant path that my uncle wanted for me was go to school, pass, have good grades, come back home for the summer, you stay and hang out with your auntie and me and the local community Nigerians, go back to school, do the same thing, come back and hang out, go back to school, get a good job, from home to work, local community, and that's it.
Church.
Because you're in Nigeria, church, I'm Muslim, I'm mosque, because you're Nigerian, you stick with the Nigerian immigrant crowd there. There's a lot of kids who grew up that way. Sonia is a Sierra Leonean immigrant. That's how she grew up. She's lived in New York all her life. But Sonia is very African. She's a very African girl. Tolanim, under one of my friends in Jersey, same thing. She grew up in a very Nigerian pocket in America. Like Newark, Jersey is a very African heavy community. So you can choose to live in America and not experience any of this chaos and just sit in your bubble because America allows that luxury, right? I think the beauty is to explore past. That's why I feel like I'm an oddity, right? To explore past that, because to succeed in this country is to also push past it, because you have to understand the dynamic of everything happening. Like on the trip, I think I was noticed more because I pushed past the uncomfortable and wanted to seek out the friendships, right? And one thing is to be very, very clear. If there are 15 white girls on the trip, maybe 5 of them will speak to me, unless I spoke to them. Like there's one particular creator, I'm not going to say her name, who did not even pretend to give a flying fudge, and she has a black husband, to even say hello to any of the black creators or people who see colors. Like none, she did not even entertain it. Like she didn't care. Like we would be at breakfast and she would sit with her 2 friends and they would just even ignore it. There was another creator who was POC, who's actually of German descent, who was crying because she was like, she felt so uncomfortable and hated because that creator just made us feel uncomfortable. Not because she did anything targeting us. She just, you know when someone just like ignores you because there's no need to even entertain. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what the life of a white girl in America is. There's no need to bother yourself unless you actually give a flying fuck. There's no need to bother yourself about the black girls. And it's so unfortunate because I think about it. Because that's true. Like, remember there was the drama with Alex Earl and Fanita. I'm talking a lot today. I love it. And that's me being sick.
Your cool just went away.
Right? Alex Earl and Fanita, and I remember all the comments on Fanita where they were dragging her and da-da-da-da, and Alex Earl was just just not bothered, like in the sky. And I remember there was one comment that stood out where someone said, I wonder what she's gonna say about Fanita, and Alex Earl goes like, who's that? Or what's that? Right? Because it wasn't even in her, like, the population of black girls following her was so tiny, this woman did not even think that there was black girl drama happening.
The algorithm is like...
Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's just chilling. That to me is so interesting. But no, I enjoyed it. Like, I enjoy the chaos that it always brings being in spaces like this. I think it's important to have it. Sometimes it's exhausting. Like, when I came back, I was so tired. Like, I had to just call Donald to debrief. I called my friends. My accent switched like that. I was like, let me tell you what just happened. Because these girls are crazy. But it's fun, too, because I'm like, wow, like, I want to experience uninhibited privilege and fun in that way that they can. I can't because I just look different. If I was in Nigeria or Ghana or anywhere where that's home for me, I can enjoy that. You know what I mean? And even then, it's the only thing making me not enjoy that is shame, right? And that's pretty much it. And shame I can handle. Racism I can't. Isn't that crazy? I mean, maybe racism I can too because it. We've been dealing with this shit since we came here. Before we end it, let me see if I can give y'all some tea real quick. If you guys don't know, Brianna Chicken Fry, Bora Bora last year, I met Grace O'Malley, and this year I met Brianna Chicken Fry. I just want to say, nothing you see on the internet is actually true. I don't appreciate people who fake empathy for sympathy when you're actually not that way in real life. So that was interesting to like finally meet Brianna and like see that difference, because I've been seeing everything that plays out online. I'm just quiet about it, and I'm like, yo, I wish you guys knew. Besides that, I think it was fun. Like, I met May. I've met her once at the Steve Madden trip. So May is always really cool. She's this really amazing Asian creator who's just like, she's the sweetest soul. Video was really cool. She's a mom. She's amazing. Like, it was actually fun.
I think there were,
to be on the trip.
How many creators were on the trip?
I think 25. 25.
I thought there were like 8.
Really?
But
So
the more
it was
you
because-
dig in, the more you're like...
It was because some creators didn't post.
Right.
Like, and it was funny because a lot of the creators who didn't post were black creators because they were scared of the backlash they were going to get. And some white girls just didn't give a shit, just posted about it. And then some others just wanted to wait to see what people think about the LA fires before they posted. But my problem with that for a lot of influencers is you are lying. Like, you want to post.
Right, just post.
Yeah, you just... It's like... I wonder if people oftentimes realize that you're getting played online, right? Like, if I didn't post but I was at the trip, I'm a liar.
Because the person posting that telling you to not post, I did not post them.
Not even that. I'm on the trip living my best life. So I still did what I wanted to do.
Right.
Because I'm not showing you doesn't mean I'm still not a bad person for not doing it. So what's the difference between posting and not posting, and the politics of maybe I'm going to wait. It feels like a weird time. When is not going to be a weird time? You know what I mean? Like, at what point would things not be bad or good or whatever? I think that was my issue for a lot of reasons. And I was just like, when I see stuff that happened with like Black Lives Matter or, you know, bad LA fires, the Gaza situation, and people are like telling your favorite influencer, you should post right now, you should do this, and they post, but you don't know if they actually donated or not, because sometimes they don't. I'm telling you now, you guys, they don't. It's performative activism, performative creating, performative this and that.
Someone can say they donated, but
they didn't. Like, social media is such a weird place, man, and I enjoy it because I feel like, I hope you guys know that if you're on my page and on my platform, I'm not pretending. Right. I talk a lot of nonsense. We're going to edit this podcast, and some things I'm going to be like, I really shouldn't say that, but I'm going to post it anyways, because I would not be myself if I didn't show you guys who I am at the expense of getting misconstrued, because social media is a scary place, but you deserve a voice, and everyone deserves a voice too. I just hate the performance.
Because once you start, and I think that's the thing with immigrant creators, like, once you start cutting yourself out, you start censoring yourself. And then you're not yourself anymore.
You're not yourself anymore. Right. And the censorship comes at the expense of people who don't actually do anything. And there are people that will be online and be like, oh, but you haven't posted that. Did you post? Even if you have 10 followers, did you post? Did you go donate? How much did you donate? Like, it's so funny to me. Like, I want to start doing that thing, because like, whenever I get hate comments, I just smile. I'm like, wow, like, yeah, okay, like, good job. Like, it's just social media.
Did you connect with anybody? Is there anybody that you left the trip saying, oh, like, okay?
Honestly, not really. I think I'm learning that my personality is very bold and very loud. And what tends to happen is that I am friends with everybody. I don't take enough time to actually be friends with one person, right? And I think that's what happens with people today. They're not sure if I actually care about them to want to be friends with them, or I'm just like hi, hello,
waiting to kind of like possibly make that effort.
Yeah, and nobody does. And also, again, like, I just be chilling. Like, I'm not going to pretend that, like, oh, because of that trip, we're going to all be best friends. Like, no, people have their lives after that trip. And that was the same thing that happened in Bora Bora. But I will say I'm learning, because before, old Sophie would have said, oh, my God, we're going to be friends forever. People are going to think that influencing, for many ways, is literally just, like, work. It's like you just have another job. And so these people are not my friends, they're my colleagues. And once I accept that, life is a lot easier for me. So because of that, I'm not really always stressing out about anything else. Hey guys, we want to start testing out some segments on here, because that was like, I feel like we're doing so well with like yapping, and I do yap a lot, but I also want to like try to intro you guys, or include you guys in the podcast too. So we're going to be doing fun segments. I think we're thinking of like love story reactions, giving us your like sort of oddest stories, am I too loud moments, like stuff that made you cringe. Like, if you have any facts or stories that you want to share and you would like to be featured on the podcast, please share in the comments, or leave a voicemail or a message on our website, amitoloud.com. Link will be in the description. Please go ahead and do that. I want to include you all in the podcast. Please, pretty please. I love you so much. Thank you so much. I'm tearing. I probably look crazy in the clip that's going to be on social media, but we're going to keep going, because this is the end of today's episode. But yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next week. It might change if anything else comes up. I'll let you guys know. We're doing this now for fun. The podcast has been so fun to record, and I feel like I'm getting so much more comfortable. I feel like you guys can tell, except this week I'm sick, so I'm sorry if I look like a swollen mess. But don't forget, you guys, share some of your odd facts, odd stories, odd memories, loud memories, anything you want. Share something with me. I want to be able to react to it on the podcast. Please share in the comments, use the voicemail at mindtoloud.com, and I'll see you in my next pod episode. I love you very much. And let me take a sneeze, because it's a part time ago. I was about to fart, but I feel like I could you fart and sneeze? All right, bye guys, I love you. Pray for me, I need it. Oh my God, my mucus is so hot. I need to go to bed.